Manifest Season 4 Part 1 is just one of the most mind-bendingly frustrating series I have ever watched in my life. I mean, it's worse than Lost in that I am so intrigued by the freaking mystery all the way through to Season 4 now. I am utterly hooked to the series. It is beyond insane. This mystery behind the callings is so riveting and gripping. You just want to keep watching to find out what the heck this thing is. And the more that we even learn about these callings or where they're from or the mythological significance behind these things, it still gets more mysterious and more compelling. And I still don't understand what the heck all of this stuff is relating to. I mean, spoilers ahead if you haven't watched yet, so drop a follow and come back later. But it's like now they're talking about divine consciousness, how that relates to their experience, but also their theory that it's somehow a memory, like they've lived through all of this before and they're just remembering their calling, so it's not really a projection or a prediction. But, you know, Eden, Ben Stone's daughter, has callings too, and she wasn't in the ball of light or wherever they were, yet somehow she has them. Maybe it's just passed on from Ben, you know, that connection to the divine consciousness, and the divine consciousness is the one that has stored all those future memories or something like that. I don't know. It's insanity. These three characters are honestly the most hated characters I have ever seen in my life. I mean, they're worse than Joffrey and Professor Umbridge. Especially her. She is up there with the greats. With Joffrey and Umbridge, she is forever the most hateful character I have ever had to experience. Like, why won't she die? Angelina is just the luckiest, craziest person to ever be on screen, because she just seems to never die. No matter how many times she's been in catastrophe after catastrophe. And then don't even get me started with Cal, man. Okay, so tell me this, right? You welcome a girl into your house, and despite everybody else telling you she's crazy as F, you still somehow believe in her and tell her where the key is to your house. Then she not only stabs your mother, but steals your little sister away. And then gets your little sister to call her mommy. On top of all of this, your sister hates you for the fact that you did this, and your father can't even look at you, and for 2 years, you have not been able to earn that love or that trust back from him. And then, when they finally get your little sister back, okay, you decide to call the woman that kidnapped her for a bedtime story? I mean, the insanity, the audacity. I don't understand Cal at all. That is just ridiculous. So explain to me how this character would do that, because that is just mental. Like, how could you, knowing all of this? I mean, you experienced your sister bitching out at you. Like, how could you do that? How can you let that happen to our mother? And you still go and call her, right? I can understand in that situation where she had the bomb, you had to be friendly to her. You had to get her to calm down and not make the bomb explode. But after that, dude, that's when your vengeance side should come out, man. You cannot be civil with someone that did that to your entire family. She absolutely wrecked, demolished, destroyed your entire family. And you still go back and call her, man. Nope. And my gripe with Cal growing up is that younger Cal, especially the actor playing him, was so mysterious. And he had that element of knowing things that just other people couldn't possibly understand or know. But grown-up Cal is like completely lost. He hasn't had any callings. He doesn't vibe in the same way. He's overly emotional. I don't understand where that's actually coming from. How this character has become. I know he was cut off from the callings, but even if he was, Cal is still the holy grail, and I can't imagine for 2 years that was just a stopgap, that nothing happened. It just doesn't make sense, man, with the storyline. Okay, so here's my gripe with the series, right? Especially when it starts off, and it's more about this family dynamic. It's Ben Stone is going through this horribly, inexplicably, downright horrible, horrid experience, right? He's just been destroyed. He lost the love of his life. He lost his child. He is just messed up, man. And for 2 years, he's been on this absolute crazy mission to follow every lead to find out where the hell his daughter is because he did not believe that she had died. So my issue comes with the family. Like, why have they not rallied around him during this time? Especially with the start of the series, right? It seems like he's the only one who cares about this. Yes, I understand the callings are important. I understand the death date is significant and you're trying to save a lot of people and you're trying to save your family. Yes, that's important. But at the same time, it's like, dude, show some empathy at least for the dude, for your own nephew, for your little sister. Like, you guys should be also helping. It doesn't take every single fraction of your brain cells to just focus on the callings, because they've been at that for 2 years and they still haven't found anything new or significant. So it should be imperative that they focus on both, because it's both their families, right? They should be helping him, and especially after he found significant proof or confirmed proof that she is alive, right? That should have been like switched. That should have switched all of them, every single one of them, into like action mode, into helping Ben. Because that's the whole reason why he pulled away and he went to that house alone, is because nobody rallied around him. Nobody jumped in and had his back when he had this impossibly massive task of finding his daughter. And that irritated me, because it's like they always go on about family, but then now this one major thing happened and they didn't even all come together until like the final act of that saga, where they got to the house and somehow they were all led there. And that's when they started helping each other. It was a huge flop. And Ben, like, I've been actually watching from season 1 now to try and figure out, or it's actually interesting to see the character growth, especially with Michaela Stone, from going from where she was, as this wreck of a person who came back to a horrible future, but she stepped up, she's like become this solid, driven person that's managed to battle her demons, her trauma, and still move forward. Like, that takes a lot. And even now in season 4, she's still experiencing the trauma of that past. But she's used that pain to move forward. She's used that pain to make her stronger. And the thing I'm realizing with Ben from the beginning is that he has this tendency to not tell his loved ones the most important things that could actually save him a lot of heartache. He could have just communicated to Grace in the beginning about what was happening with Cal, and especially after the hospital experience where she saw proof that they are connected and that there's something going on. He should have told her from there then how connected Cal was and that he was going to investigate, and there wouldn't have been such hectic problems with them. But here now again in season 4, he decides to go it alone to try and save Eden by himself, and the fool gets knocked out. So, and then people have to come save him. So like, what was the point of that? He utterly made, and then nobody called him out on it, bruh. They didn't say like, you could have ruined this entire thing. And on top of that, his decisions actually led directly to Zeke having to shoot that lady multiple times and actually release that anger that he was holding in, because those emotions were affecting him. So if Ben would have just stopped being a nincompoop and actually included his family, but at the same time, if his family had rallied around him at that time, he would have felt that trust, that sense of hope that he would have included them, in helping them. Especially even just his sister. If she had come along, things would have been much smoother. And the thing with Zeke also, it's like he was going through all the stuff and then everybody just sort of ignored it. It was only his random characters that actually paid attention to what was happening with him. But it was like, And I know that the characters push other characters away, but at the same time, it's like, dude, this guy went through something hectic, and you yourself are a cop. You know, after a shooting, that it's important to get a psych eval to get to talk to somebody or something along those lines. And she should have been on that case. She should have been, especially an addict, man. Come on. All she said was, that was intense. Do you want to talk about it? And then done. She let it go. Like, seriously. You should have had stuff happening or someone talking to him. I get it though, that because he's been the sort of fixer and emotional helper of the family, everybody sort of ignored that he sort of had feelings too, that maybe he needed people to talk to. And we are at the end of season 4, part 1, and this mystery still continues. They say this is the last season, but I don't even understand how it's going to all come together in part 2, and they're going to explain what these callings are, where they're from. Maybe sometimes, I mean, it'd be really cool and psychotically mind-bending for a lot of people if they just don't, finalize what it all actually means. I mean, that'd be hard to do with a story, but I think that might be better. Sometimes it's really hard to know these things. Like, how would you sort of tie it all together? I mean, is it going to be some kind of divine entity that's sort of doing all of this? Or is it going to be more scientific? Or is it going to be a mixture of both? I don't know. But either way, I can't believe they made us sit through 4 seasons and we still don't know jack. We know nothing. But I am truly glad and grateful that Netflix actually took over the show to give us the ending that we need and the understanding for this show. I mean, they like supercharged everything that was great about Manifest, but at the same time, they kept the heart of it, which was awesome. But truly, 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 I have never hated a character more than Angelina. She just makes me cringe so much every time she's on screen. It's like, when someone is like unnecessarily crazy, psychotic about something, especially about religion, it just drives me up the wall, man. It's like a pet peeve of mine that you can be that delusional. I understand that she's got a background, that she's been tortured and tormented by her parents and been sort of had the Bible drilled into her in the wrong kinds of way. But still, man, even through all of that, this family rescues you from that horrible life, takes you into their home, treats you like a part of the family. But then you turn around, you stab the mother, and you take the child. And then you make that child treat you like mother? Yo. It's okay. That is just the worst kind of humanity I've ever experienced. I mean, it's even more demented than Joffrey. And nobody was supposed to be more demented than Joffrey, right? From Game of Thrones. He was like the most hated character in the world, and understandably so. He checked all the boxes of just the worst humanity has to offer. And then comes around this chick who just continually does bad shit and ruins people's lives. It's just mental, man.